you can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song.
Welcome to Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged with your host, Brain Fitzpatrick. Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged is a snapshot of the day-to-day experiences of disabled individuals as they navigate the world around us. We wish to shed light and open your eyes on a new perspective of people with disabilities. And by going unplugged, we can discuss viewpoints we hope will challenge our viewers' points of view. Most of us have disabilities we must live with, but what defines us is the way we deal with them. And now, here's your host, Brain Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick coming to you live from the facilities of Pittsburgh Community Television. Today's show, I'm going to talk a little bit about, actually a lot about the difficulties with the difficulties when it comes to the term independence and making your own decisions. I know I've talked a lot about this in the past, but today I'm going to take a little bit different approach to it. And you'll see what I'm going to do, and you'll see what I'm going to say, and you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. Under the ADA and the purposes of the ADA is to make us as independent as possible. And the purposes of these programs that we have today from UCP, BARC, or Guidewire and stuff, some of them are to give us, most of them are to give us the independent choices to make our own decisions on what we do, okay? But I'm running into a situation now, and here's why. Here's what I'm running into. As far as moving to another state, the services are not provided the same as they are in each individual state. So I would have to start all over again if I decided to move, and which is okay because each state is different. But what I'm saying is we have to reapply for insurances and stuff like that if we switch to another state. We have to reapply for services and stuff like that, which is all fine and good, but I feel as though that should not be limited. That should not limit us from being able to do so. And the length of time it would take to change services needs to change. On average, in my opinion, and this is not necessarily accurate timing, but I've heard it takes up to 3 years to get insurance in another state. And that is crazy. Okay? The idea of being able to run these programs is to give us as independent as we can. We should not be allowed, we should not feel like we should not feel like we're trapped in one area if we want to move because it takes 3 years to get insurance to go somewhere. Now, in the backstory to this show would probably, if I was to move, this show would go with me. But the point is, I don't think I am moving because it would take too much for me to move. And if I did move, it would take too much. Although it makes me kind of want to do it to just prove that I can, because it's crazy for the states to be saying, because you want to move somewhere, it needs to take 3 years for you to get medical insurance and stuff like that. This is a free country, and as far as I'm concerned, I am not free to decide what I want to do, because you're putting time limits on how long it takes to do things. And the level of services are not available in certain areas. Now, I think that should be federally, there should be a way to federally kind of carry over what you get for services in one area to the other. Now, of course, we can't even get our government to pass the budget on time, so I'm probably asking a little too much for this, but, I mean, mainly what I'm saying is these agencies and these rules are saying, make us as independent as we can, but when we want to be independent, we can't be, because it's either not a good idea or somebody wants to throw a wrench in the work. Somebody wants to throw a wrench in the plan. And quite frankly, I really feel that this stuff needs to change, and this stuff needs to change immediately. as quickly as it can. Not immediately, but as quickly as it can. And there's a lot of stuff that can be done statewide, but there's a lot of stuff that gotta be done federally to run this country better and make it so that it's more readily available. I mean, it's not readily available, but it's more user-friendly and more understanding as to what makes things more individualized is what I'm trying to say. Instead of just one blanket, this is what you get, that's all there is to it. It's not like the situation where in the court system, okay, let me explain this. In the court system, if you're using a computer to speak in the court system, you can't testify. And the question in people's mind right now is, why can't you testify? Because under the law, the testimony is not coming from the person using the equipment. The testimony would be coming from the person that programs the equipment. So therefore, it's inadmissible in a court system if you utilize a augmentative communication device, alternative communication device that would be easy for people to understand. So therefore, the person that's utilizing the augmentative communication device or alternative communication device cannot testify. Basically, what you're saying in that level, as far as I'm concerned, their experiences and their right to speak, right to testify doesn't matter in the court system. Well, it matters, but it doesn't matter enough to change it in the law. And I have a severe problem with that. I mean, this country, I understand this country is not, this country is a great country to live in, but we're limited by people's looking outside the box is what I'm saying. We're limited to people's opinions about the way things should be instead of the way things were designed to be when, let's face it, the Constitution in the United States was the Constitution of the United States was when the Constitution was made, it wasn't meant to be as complicated a situation as it is now, based on the regulations and stuff that we have now. But I just feel that each situation should be more on a client basis or an individual basis on what they need for services. And states and the government should realize that as far as what the client needs in a certain state, you should talk to the clients. Then see if you can meet the expectations of that client. Okay? Yeah, I mean, I understand all it does is all this comes back to money and what money it takes to do this and money it takes to do that. Well, it takes money for an able-bodied person to do what they do. But if it takes, you gotta think about what kind of experiences you guys have, and why shouldn't we have the same privileges that you guys do? Because we have a disability. And I'll tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, there should be no difference. We are entitled to the same things you are. And if we want to go on vacation somewhere and stuff, we should be able to go. Or if we want to move to a different state, we should be allowed to do it. Not worried about, oh, am I going to have the same services in this one state versus the other? Well, and you know, as much as I love Massachusetts, and I'm not downing Massachusetts at all, but if you think Massachusetts thinks they're the greatest, this whole country is messed up, and this whole country is looking at things wrong. If they listen to their constituents and listen to what they need, I think this place will be a lot better off, because I don't see a lot of cooperation throughout the country at all. And you're asking, why is he talking about moving to another state? Well, I was thinking about it, and I still am. And don't worry about the show. Show will continue. But I will say that I was able to explore different situations because my parents were able enough to take me on. They can take me out, take me to Florida, take me places like this. But now that they're getting older, I can't do that. Eventually I will. So I'd like to be able to do some of the things I was able to do before. And yes, eventually I'd like to move and see other areas. But based on the services here, based on the services in Massachusetts, I think I'm going to be basically stuck here, and I understand what I'm saying today is I understand the frustration of everybody else and everybody's situation. And what my show is going to do today and probably for the next couple of weeks is explain to you that, I have struggles too, and I get upset and I get denied things. So you're not the only one that gets upset and denies things and gets told that you can do one thing and you turns out you can't because you won't have the services you have. But you also gotta realize as far as staff goes, you can't be speaking from an agency standpoint because you lose money if a client makes a decision to do something. They should be encouraged to do it, not told, if you leave, I'll lose my job, or, because at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about us, and it's about our happiness, our desire to be as normal as possible. And if we're stuck, if we're told that we can't do things because you can't say, you shouldn't be able, you can say what you want, but just know that you shouldn't say that to a person that you're trying to assist and be as normal as they can be. But yeah, you're turning around and saying, no, you can't do this. This is the best you can get. And like it or leave it. But if you leave it, you're not going to be as independent as you are here. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to leave, but I'm just saying the frustration is that the people are saying what people say and what people allow me to be able to do are all the things I can do. It's not because I'm making the decision for myself. Other people make decisions for the disabled and for me as per se, because what they want is usually what they get. If they don't want me to do something, people are gonna say, don't do it. Well, what about what I want? What about what What about what I need to experience in life? What about what other people need to experience? I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the ability to make a decision and be respected based on what you want, and not looking at he's in a chair, so we better check and make sure he's making the right decision for him. As far as I'm concerned, I am my own legal guardian. And yes, I am legally my own legal guardian, my own person to make my own decisions. But sometimes that's not honored. Not just in my case, but other people's cases as well. There is one situation that I'm just saying that, listen to the person. They have a brain, they can use it. If they can't, then I understand. I mean, each case is different. But people in this business need to realize that, all cases are not the same. And all situations are not the same. They have the right to make decisions even though people don't think they're the right decisions for them. They have the right to make mistakes too. And sometimes you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Sometimes you can suggest things not to do, but people are gonna do it anyway. So, I mean, keep that in mind that even though you're disabled and wanting to be independent now, even though you're disabled, you want to be independent, but limited. You're always going to be limited in independence because you're relying on the state and you're relying on the services in that particular state. And you gotta be prepared to put up a fight and say, okay, I guess when you're in the situation, you're being told you're independent, but you're not actually, because you can't do anything. You can't do everything you want to do, even though people say you do. You have rights to other people's, you have rights, but you're only allowed to do what the state will pay for and what the state will allow you to do as a disabled individual. Because quite frankly, and this is a little personal opinion now, as most of what I want to do and most of what I want to accomplish in life, besides putting a show on like this and being able to express my frustration to you, because I'm sure most people in my position feel the same way. They get very frustrated. Parents, I feel for you because you guys are told that week after week that you can't, that you're you want your family member or your kid to be able to do what they want to do, but because either there's no services or very little services, you have to find the services or create them yourselves. And there's so much. As far as the day program, in Massachusetts, 9 times out of 10 in my experience as far as the day programs is they are very well equipped for people with mental disabilities, but as far as having a physical disability and not a mental disability, there's not enough programs like that. So, as a result of this as much as a day program that I can get, I have a weekly opportunity to come and talk to you. That's basically the only real day program besides going to church that I have. I can go shopping, but I need somebody to physically go shopping with me. And then I got the issue of having to deal with ambulances. I got the issue of having people pick me up, take me to the store. So when you say, we want you to be as independent as you can, how? If I can't be picked up and be dropped off where I need to be in whatever time I need to be there. Is it really independent if you're telling me there's a restriction to it? Now, I understand there's always restrictions to everything. You can't do what you want to do because there's laws and there's regulations, but I mean, you know, I'm feeling like there is not enough give and take for the government or the states as far as any type of government as far as the states or the federal government. We're really listening to what the constituents want and what they really need to have done on an individual basis. I think there needs to be, as a matter of fact, I am considering having a forum either at City Hall or at the library. I haven't set anything up yet, but I mean, so people can express their frustrations and be able to talk about things and get their frustrations out like I'm doing today, because we are active constituents of the city and of this country, and we should be respected just like anybody else. And by insurance companies saying, well, we can only handle this situation because of this. It's not all about, it's all about money. You can handle situations, you just don't want to handle situations, as far as I'm concerned. It's inconvenient for governments and different municipalities to handle different things and different challenges. The disabled people pose to those municipalities or whatever. Pittsfield is one of the best areas for this, but other areas need to catch up as well. And what we need to do as disabled individuals is expose the problems in not only Pittsfield, but other areas as well. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm really going to get into the American Disabilities Act and really discuss why I feel this country and the state, and even the governor, needs to realize, needs to understand what people really need. Now, I haven't met the governor, but I would love to have her on, and I have so many from the State House on, and just talk about other areas that other people that they can help in ways that I think the state can help. And federally, I mean, there's so much we can do to make this country as good as we can until it's time to go be with the Lord. But I will say this: I'm not gonna be restricted until I can do something without a fight. And I am preparing to expose what situations, the specific situations in the next couple weeks, what exactly I'm talking about, and what other people can do to get through some of the situations that I'm going to be talking about over the next couple weeks. Because, like transportation is easy, but transportation is not easy. And I'm going to expose the fact that just because you have services in one area doesn't mean that you're going to get the same services in other states. But is that fair? Is that fair is what I'm saying, and no, it's not. We are American citizens, and we should have the same rights and privileges that other people have. And I think right now, I'm gonna take a quick break. and I will be right back. But I will be right back, and I will continue some of the conversation, and then I will wrap up the show. With that, we will be right back, folks. Thank you.
You're the God of this city. You're the King of these people. You're the Lord of this nation. You are. You're the light in the darkness. You're the hope to the hopeless. You're the peace to the restless. You are. There is no one like our God. There is no one like you, God. Greater things have yet to come, and greater things are still to be done in this city. Greater things have yet to come, and greater things are still to be done here. You're the Lord of creation, the creator of all things. You're the King above all kings. You are. You're the strength in our weakness. You're the love to the broken. You're the joy in the sadness. You are. 'Cause there is no one like our God. There is no one like you, God. Greater things yet to come, and greater things are still to be done in this city. As glory shines from hearts alive with praise to you and love for you in this city. Greater things are yet to come, and greater things are still to be done in this city. Greater things are yet to come, greater things are still to be done here. Thank you, God, you are not done here, Lord. Greater things in this city. Oh, Lord. Thank you, God.
Afternoon, folks. This has been Brain Fitzpatrick with Wheeling the Pathway to Life. I realize that my ranting about moving in other areas and other situations were a bit confusing today, and understanding that other areas. But I want you all to realize that my point in this whole situation is we all need to work together and be a part of the solution until Jesus Christ comes and takes care of everything that is going on in this world. And we are to be as accepting and understanding and trying to make things harder on the human race based on what other people want is not being understanding and cooperating with what God wants us to do. He wants us to be understanding and reach out to other areas and reach out to those who don't understand this and give them the opportunity to understand that there is better things to come and there are better times are coming, and when we least expect it, they will. But all the trouble we're going through, there won't be any trouble when Jesus comes back. So all I can say is look forward to that, and I will be here to guide you through some of the trouble I've been through, and I will walk you through. We will walk through life together and be stronger on the other side when it's all said and done. With that, folks, I will say the reason why I'm discussing other areas so much is that I am considering and have considered moving to South Carolina. Now, if I did that, I don't think the show would be affected, because that could be done with another producer here and me do it remotely. But again, like I said, the whole insurance thing and the whole 3-year waiting period to get insurance, to get a place to live and stuff like that may be too much, but I am looking into it and going to keep you up to speed on what's going on. Life changes, and there may be other circumstances coming up that I'm not aware of, so I'm not gonna do something that is not carefully planned out and carefully situated, but I am considering it, and I will keep everybody aware and well informed of what's going on. And during my study and during my investigation, I will bring you along with me and understand along the way there's gonna be problems. And these are some of the things you guys need to look at when you decide to say you can be as independent as you want to be. as independent as I want to be, I should be able to drive out that door and go anywhere. But that's not a reality. And what I'm saying is, before people say things, they gotta look at all the factors in life and see that, you know, even though one person can do it, the other person maybe not be able to do it because of their disability. But we should be afforded the opportunity to try instead of being shut down every time we turn around. So, over the next couple weeks, we're going to be talking about each situation that's going to take for me to move, if I was to move. I'm not saying I'm moving, but I'm just exposing how difficult it would be if I decided to. And if it does come to that, I will make arrangements for this show to continue from other areas. I will be sure to keep everybody up to date on what I'm thinking. But just based on what I told you, I don't think it's a likelihood, but I'm gonna take it along with me while I investigate, see if I can actually do it. And I've been here since 1979. I'd like to be able to explore other areas of the country, even if it's on vacation. So, with that, folks, I'm gonna say that I really appreciate your patience with me today and your understanding. But a lot of this is just frustration that people say we can do whatever we want and be as independent as we can be, but based on the way the laws are, and they vary from state to state. Services are not the same. So are we independent, even though they say most cases it's independent living? I don't think so. And will we ever get to the point where we're totally independent to do what we want to do? It depends on what the version of independence is, because at the end of the day, we all need help. But the type of independence I'm talking about is making decisions as to what you want to do in life. And that's the only part of the independence that I'm looking for, is to be able to get up one day and say, I want to do this, let's go do it. And then eventually get a van and stuff like that. But again, it takes money and politics, and this show will expose the reality to you can be as independent as you want to be. And in the next couple weeks, I will show if that definition was true, things would be a lot different. with that, folks, I am gonna give you a couple of examples of what I'm planning. But like I said, I'm planning on possibly putting together a public forum in the library of City Hall, depending on if I can get the Disabilities Commission involved to use City Hall and discuss some of the situations that I've been discussing, and the fact that I can't independently decide if I want to go out to dinner or something at night because I gotta be in the house by 7 o'clock at night because of transportation. How independent do you think that is? Being told that you can't use public transportation because you gotta be in the house by 7 o'clock. When in fact, the regular buses during the week run until 9:30, 10 o'clock. So, there's a little bit of miscommunication there, or dare I say, miscommunication, or frankly, some discrimination as far as I'm concerned. Now, what about the people that want to go to church? I've got an agency right now that's spending over $200 each way for me to go to church every Sunday. $200, $400 a week for me to go to church, which is 13 miles away from my house, but I get a full company out of Springfield to get me to go to church 13 miles away from my house. With that, folks, I will say it's been a great week. It's been an interesting week, and I will bring you back. I will come back next week and give you some more practical information and practical ways that you can help by telling the government and by telling people in the city, don't say things if you can't do it. Say things in an honest way to the disabled. It's bad enough we gotta do things because we're disabled. We don't have to be lied to in the process. Thank you, and have a good afternoon, folks. This has been Brian Fitzpatrick bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathways of Life. We will see you all next week. Thank you.
You can